Sheriffs hold a unique position in law enforcement. They are elected officials answerable to the people they serve. This position grants them a critical power, the discretion to refuse to enforce laws they deem unconstitutional. They are the final check on tyranny before the citizens get involved. This power is not a suggestion. It is a cornerstone of our system. It prevents tyranny from taking root. Sheriffs are not puppets of the government. They are guardians of the Constitution. Think of it like this. Imagine a law is passed that violates your basic rights. Maybe it restricts your freedom of speech, allows unreasonable searches, or infringes on your right to keep and bear arms. A sheriff, sworn to uphold the Constitution, could refuse to enforce that law. They could stand as a shield between you and an overreaching government. That's the power of a sheriff who understands their oath and their duty. This principle isn't just theoretical. Sheriffs across the country have challenged federal laws they believed were unconstitutional, from gun control to immigration. These sheriffs understood their oath went beyond blindly following orders. It meant actively defending the Constitution, even when it was difficult. Because sometimes protecting the people means standing up to power. Let's be clear, this isn't just about moral obligation, it's about the law. The Federal Law Enforcement Misconduct Statute, specifically 18 U.S.C. Section 242, makes it a crime for law enforcement officers to deprive anyone of their constitutional rights under the color of law. This means if an officer uses their authority to enforce an unconstitutional law, they are breaking federal law. This statute has teeth. It carries serious penalties, including fines and imprisonment. It's a clear message from the federal government. Violating someone's constitutional rights is a serious offense. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie cop or the chief of police, nobody is above the Constitution. This statute underscores a crucial point. Police officers are not exempt from the law, they are bound by it. The problem happens when police officers blindly follow orders given by a corrupt leader or government official. Their job is to uphold the Constitution. All of it, not just the parts they agree with. Every sheriff and police officer takes an oath to support and defend the Constitution. This isn't a suggestion, it's a solemn promise. It's a commitment to uphold the very document that guarantees our freedoms. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, believed that unconstitutional laws were null and void. He argued that enforcing such laws would be a betrayal of that oath. Think about the weight of that oath. Police officers are given the power to enforce the law, but that power comes with a heavy responsibility. They have a duty to use that power justly and to protect the rights of all citizens. Blindly following orders, especially when those orders violate the Constitution, is not an excuse. Imagine a doctor who blindly followed a superior's orders, even if those orders meant harming a patient. We would be outraged. We would demand accountability. The same standard applies to police officers. Their oath is their promise to protect and defend, not to blindly obey. Section 4. Overreach in action, lockdowns, and unlawful stops. Sadly, we've seen too many examples of law enforcement overreach in recent years. With several cities in the northeastern states instituting lockdowns again this year, this is once again relevant. During the COVID-19 pandemic, some police departments enforced lockdown measures with an iron fist. They arrested people for being in parks, shut down businesses without due process, and generally treated citizens like subjects rather than rights holders. These actions often went far beyond what was necessary or even legal. We've also seen countless examples of unlawful traffic stops, often targeting minorities based on nothing more than flimsy pretexts. These stops are not just an inconvenience, they are a violation of our Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. They erode trust in law enforcement and fuel an anti-police sentiment. These examples highlight a dangerous trend, the normalization of unconstitutional policing. When officers feel empowered to disregard the Constitution, it creates a climate of fear and distrust. It undermines the very fabric of our society. Section 5. The Constitution, your badge, isn't above it. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It protects all Americans regardless of race, religion, or political beliefs. It's the bedrock of our freedom. Police officers must understand this. They must recognize unconstitutional laws and orders. It's about ensuring justice is served fairly and constitutionally. Their badge is not a license to violate the Constitution. Section 6 to accountability, no shield from injustice. Just following orders is not a valid defense for violating someone's constitutional rights. Police officers have a moral and legal obligation to refuse unlawful orders. When they ignore that obligation, they must be held accountable. Accountability means facing consequences from disciplinary action to prosecution. It's about upholding the integrity of the law,